Jim Carrey is famous for making funny faces, doing crazy stunts, and starring in movies like Liar, Liar, and Bruce Almighty. He became one of the most famous actors ever. But behind all the laughs, there was a sad truth he kept secret until now. At 63 years old, he's finally talking about 6 actors he can never forgive. These people embarrassed him in public, used his fame against him, and even dragged his daughter into their drama. These weren't random people. Some were his heroes. Some were people he thought were his friends. And what they did hurt him more than any movie role ever could. Get ready, because the reasons he dislikes them are even more surprising than who they are. Number 1, Tommy Lee Jones, the man who said, "I hate you." Tommy Lee Jones is number 1 because he did something almost no one in Hollywood ever does. He looked Jim Carrey right in the eyes and said, "I hate you." The story was so crazy that years later, Carrey still couldn't believe it happened. Back in 1994, Carrey was on fire. Movies like Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber made him the biggest star in the world. When he got cast in Batman Forever, it felt like a dream come true. He would get to work with Tommy Lee Jones, an Oscar-winning actor he had looked up to since he was a kid. But that excitement didn't last long. After just the first week of filming, things got weird. People who worked on the movie later talked about how tense it was. Jones apparently complained that Carrey's improvising and goofing around ruined the serious parts of scenes. He told the director, Joel Schumacher, that the movie was already too silly and Carrey's wild energy made it even worse. Jones wouldn't even look at Carrey when the cameras stopped rolling. Instead, he would talk really loudly about serious actors when Carrey was close enough to hear. Then came the night when everything exploded. Carrey saw Jones eating dinner at a small restaurant near the Warner Brothers studio. He walked over, expecting to say a friendly hello, but what happened next shocked him. Carrey later told the story like this. His face just went pale. He stood up, shaking like he was really angry, hugged me, and said, "I hate you. I really don't like you. I cannot sanction your buffoonery." That was pure hatred. That same weekend, Dumb and Dumber became a huge hit and crushed Jones's personal movie project called Cobb. People on set said Jones took it personally. He was furious that Carrey's silly comedy, as he called it, made more money in 3 days than Cobb made in total. After that, Jones kept his distance. He refused to rehearse with Carrey, avoided eye contact, and even asked the producers to put their dressing rooms far apart. They never made up. They never appeared together again. For Jim Carrey, this was the first brutal lesson about how mean Hollywood egos can be. Number 2, Shia LaBeouf, the guy who attacked Jim Carrey's daughter. Shia LaBeouf didn't just cross a line with Jim Carrey, he stomped all over it. And it all started with a joke Carrey made on stage that wasn't even meant to be mean. Carrey made one playful joke about Shia during the 2014 Golden Globes, right after Shia got caught copying someone else's work. He stood on stage, smiled, and said, "Dying is easy. Comedy is hard. I believe it was Shia LaBeouf who said that. So young, so wise." The audience laughed hard. Shia did not. His reaction wasn't just annoyance. It was pure anger. Instead of responding like a normal grown-up, Shia did something unthinkable. He went after Jane Carrey, Jim's daughter. He posted a video of her band online with a caption that repeated old fake rumors about Carrey's personal life. He copied them from an angry article that Rupert Murdoch wrote about Hugh Grant years before and just changed the names. That's how sloppy and mean the attack was. People close to Carrey said he was stunned. Making jokes about other celebrities is one thing. Dragging someone's family into it is completely different. Shia deleted the post after about 30 minutes, then apologized in a tweet that looked rushed and embarrassed. But the damage was already done. Carrey never talked about it publicly again. What made the whole thing even creepier was something fans noticed later. During that time, Shia was following exactly one person on Twitter, Jane Carrey. The moment he posted the attack, he quietly unfollowed her like nothing ever happened. This was obsession mixed with anger, and it's why Shia LaBeouf is permanently on Carrey's blacklist. Number 3. Jenny McCarthy, the relationship that became a war. The name that hurts Jim Carrey the most isn't a co-star or a rival. It's Jenny McCarthy. This is the one chapter he avoids talking about in interviews. Their relationship started like every Hollywood love story you see in the headlines. Funny guy meets funny girl, they fall in love. Cameras love them. But people who were around them say the problem started shockingly early, long before the public knew anything was wrong. People who saw them together in 2006 and 2007 noticed something strange. Every date night quietly turned into a meeting about autism, vaccines, or media plans for Jenny's activism work. Carrey didn't realize it at first. He thought he was just being a supportive boyfriend. What he didn't know was that Jenny was slowly pulling him into a political mess he never wanted to be part of. By 2008, Carrey had accidentally become the face of the anti-vaccine movement. Not because he wanted to, but because Jenny needed his fame to support her message. He showed up at rallies, spoke at events, gave money to projects, and supported her son, Evan. He had no idea how much these appearances were hurting his career until movie roles started disappearing. Things got worse when Jenny pushed him to make more and more extreme statements. Carrey hesitated. She didn't. People say she scolded him in private for being too soft and reminded him how many families needed his voice. The pressure never stopped. Carrey finally realized his public image had been completely changed without his permission. The breakup in April 2010 looked friendly on the surface, but people in Hollywood knew better. The same week they broke up, Jenny shut down her autism school, hinting at different visions with my partner. Carrey had planned to buy out her business partner, but he walked away from everything once he walked away from her. This was betrayal disguised as activism, and it's the reason Jenny McCarthy stays on Carrey's blacklist with zero chance of coming back. Number 4. Mark Wahlberg, the Hollywood star who publicly insulted Jim Carrey. Mark Wahlberg didn't need to start a fight with Jim Carrey. He created one all by himself with just one sentence. The moment happened during a 2009 interview when a reporter asked him about celebrities speaking out on controversial topics. Wahlberg didn't hesitate. He went straight for the attack. The actors should shut up and just act. Everyone knew he was talking about Carrey, who had gotten tangled up in the vaccine debate because of Jenny McCarthy. What made the moment sting wasn't that they disagreed. It was how arrogant Wahlberg sounded. Here was a man with a well-known history of street fights, arrests, and violent incidents from when he was a teenager, suddenly acting like Hollywood's moral police. People say Carrey didn't respond publicly, not because he agreed, but because he couldn't believe the hypocrisy. Wahlberg built his whole early career on being rebellious and shocking. Then he turned around and scolded another actor for stepping outside the lines. Privately, Carrey saw the comment as typical Hollywood politics at its worst. What the public didn't know was that Wahlberg kept saying the same thing behind closed doors. A few months later, Wahlberg complained that Carrey was hurting the industry and making actors look irresponsible. That comment spread fast. It didn't take long before movie offers slowed down for Carrey. while Wahlberg's career kept growing with no problems. Carrey understood what was happening. Wahlberg wasn't just criticizing him. He was protecting his own reputation by throwing someone else under the bus. And that's exactly why Carrey has never forgotten it. Number 5, the Kardashians, the fame empire Jim Carrey never wanted to celebrate. Jim Carrey never had a personal fight with the Kardashians, but they still ended up on his blacklist. The weird thing is, the feud started with a red carpet question that bothered Carrey at exactly the wrong time. It happened in 2017 at a Harper's Bazaar event celebrating so-called icons. A reporter ran up, excited to interview him, and asked a simple question. "What brings you here tonight?" Carrey gave an answer that made the interviewer freeze. "I don't believe in icons. That's the lowest aiming possibility we could come up with." People watching the clip thought he was joking. He wasn't. The Kardashians were standing just a few feet away, being photographed as the main stars of the evening. This was exactly the kind of celebrity culture he hated. Fame that didn't come from talent, but from branding, influence, and manufactured image. Seeing the Kardashians celebrated as icons was his breaking point. During that event, Carrey's frustration was obvious. He looked genuinely upset watching guests swarm the Kardashians while ignoring artists with real careers. He muttered something about living in the Truman Show for real, then walked away before the cameras even finished filming. That wasn't the end of it. In a Vanity Fair interview 1 year later, Carrey said it again. "The phenomenon of the Kardashians, I don't think it's healthy." For him, the Kardashians symbolized a Hollywood that had lost its soul, and that was enough for him to shut the door permanently. Number 6, Will Smith, the moment that made Jim Carrey lose faith in Hollywood. Will Smith wasn't on Jim Carrey's BL A-list for decades. He earned his spot in a single night, one that millions of people watched live. What shocked Carrey wasn't just what Will did, but what Hollywood did afterward. The Oscars are supposed to be the industry's proudest moment. Instead, they gave Carrey all the proof he needed that the system he worked in for 40 years had completely lost its backbone. When Will Smith walked on stage and slapped Chris Rock, Carrey wasn't surprised by the act itself. People crack under pressure. It happens. What stunned him was the reaction that followed, a standing ovation. Carrey later said with disappointment in his voice, "I was sickened. It was the clearest indication we're not the cool club anymore." That's the part that disgusted Carrey. The fake morality, the fake unity, the obsession with image over accountability. What made Carrey completely snap was hearing people defend Will's actions backstage. A crew member told reporters he overheard an actress saying Will was protecting his wife, like it was some heroic moment. The next morning, Carrey delivered a statement that shook the industry. "If it were me, I'd have sued him for $200 million. That video is going to be there forever." He was pointing out the hypocrisy. A regular person would have been escorted out immediately, but a celebrity with power, they get a trophy and applause. Since that night, Carrey isn't interested anymore. In his eyes, Will Smith didn't just embarrass himself. He exposed exactly how rotten Hollywood had become. So now that Jim Carrey has finally revealed the 6 actors he'll never forgive, which story shocked you the most? And do you think any of them deserve a second chance? Tell us in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another deep dive into Hollywood's hidden truths.